and your channel is Good Morning.
Good Morning Mechanic.
Good morning. Yep. Welcome back to the local, ladies and gentlemen. Today with us we have Dan Bamford from Good Morning Mechanic. Welcome, Dan. Thank you for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. It's nice to finally get down here and do this. Been wanting to do it for a long time.
We're so happy to have you here. We've promised over and over and over that Dan's going to be on. We've hounded him.
Threatened.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, that was Ben.
Yeah.
I don't threaten. Ben doesn't threaten me around here.
It was more of a promise.
So what's going on, Dan?
Nothing. Just been focused on work. And my Good Morning Mechanic channel is actually it's growing a little bit faster than I thought it was gonna do. So that's pretty cool. And just really things have been just crazy busy. And unfortunately, for the last several months, I just haven't been able to get down here. But here I am, finally made it, baby.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you've tripled your channel since we first spoke.
Yeah.
The very first time, which was April.
Yeah.
Was the first time we spoke? Yeah. April and May. So that's
last year. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So it's doing good. It's doing all right. It's I don't know. I try to have fun with it. I started the channel for a very specific reason. I actually so the beginning of Good Morning Mechanic, it all started because I was working full time for the military, and I took a position 3 hours one-way drive from my house. So I live up in Northeast Ohio, and I 3 hours one way. So I would drive 3 hours. I would stay down there away from my family for 3-4 days at a time, like during the work week, and then I'd drive back. And then the weekends that I would have, like my National Guard drill, excuse me, I would drive down there on like a Tuesday, and I'd be there for a week at a time.
Wow.
So actually, before this last year, I had spent 3 years doing that other job, and then out of that 3 years, I spent over half that time away from my family.
Wow!
So it was basically like a year and 6 months of total time away from my wife, away from my kids, and I was to the point where I was actually ready to just get out of the military. And I was watching a YouTube video. It's actually, the channel is called Roadside Rescue.
Okay.
And this guy, he's like out in Utah, and he started a mobile mechanic service. And I'm a mechanic, and I was like, you know what? I could do this. Like, I'll start a mobile mechanic service. So I started coming up with names of brands, and the first thing I came up with was Very Good Mobile Mechanic. That was the name of the company. Very Good Mobile Mechanic.
And I made him his first design.
Yeah.
It looked like it was written in crayon over the pumpkin.
It was like one of those red cards with the yellow
The tiny
ties.
dot cards or whatever.
Yeah. So Very Good Mobile Mechanic, and with a cartoon with a crane written in it. Super professional. Yeah, it was great. And then from there, I realized that Very Good Mobile Mechanic was probably too flashy of a name. So I changed the name to Mobile Brake Services. But then I realized that MBS was like already taken by a different company. So I had to change it again. And then I ended up just changing it to Bamford Auto. And then I did Bamford Auto all the way until the last fall.
Gotcha.
Excuse me. But Bamford Auto was my mobile mechanic service. And so, which is different from Good Morning Mechanic. So how Good Morning Mechanic started was I was videotaping my repairs to prove to the customers what I was doing. And then I was at work one day, and somebody was like, yeah, man, I don't know how to do brakes. Like, I wish somebody would teach me. And I was like, oh, man, I just did a brake job, and I got a whole video. And I let him watch my video. He was like, dude, you need to start a YouTube channel. Like, this is really good. And it was not good. So I appreciate the kind words,
But it was
but it was terrible. And so and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll start something. And then I started Good Morning Mechanic because in the military, I actually always say good morning to people, no matter what time it is.
good morning.
Yeah, I say good morning all the time. That's a whole nother story too.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah. So you do run a mobile mechanic business as well?
So I don't do it in the wintertime.
Okay.
So I stopped because turns out running mobile mechanic service in Northeast Ohio when it's negative 8 degrees and a foot of snow. So I stop it in the winter, which is hilarious because you can see all my analytics just crash because I run out of videos sometimes. Like not everybody needs something, so I reach out to my buddies. I'm like, hey man, you need your oil change. It's like,
I need ball joints done on my Tundra.
right, yeah. So it's like those are perfect opportunities when it's like, hey, I got a guy like my this guy needs his tie rod in repaired. I'm like, oh dude, send him over. So Ben's had his car worked on. I've done my little brother's cars. And
We've done videos, I
Yeah.
think, on my brakes and stuff.
yeah, we did a video together. It was pretty sweet. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's always fun to work on things together with people. So I started trying to make some videos with other mechanics actually up north, and try to make some videos of us teaming up on things. And what's really nice is I lost all that footage.
Oh, great.
So yeah, I did a whole, like I sat down with this guy for about an hour. We did this whole interview. I had a 45-minute like podcast style interview, and I lost all the footage.
Oh my.
Yeah.
No good. Well, sorry to hear that. So far, we've been lucky and have only lost one interview. And it was an hour and 15-minute interview.
Oh, yikes.
SD card got corrupted.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is SD card getting corrupted? What does that actually mean? Do you know?
What did it mean to be corrupted?
Yeah.
Started working for the government. Started a contracting gig.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
Yeah. So I did find that when you're doing stuff for people, because I got a sense of humor
Mhm.
where it's like constant sarcasm, it's constant like, it's like it's just kind of how we grew up. Like it was a coping mechanism
Yeah.
for how we grew up.
Yeah.
But it's like just like this weird sense of humor, and then the military sense of humor on top of that. So it's like this guy's car could be bleeding out, and with coolant. You're just like, well, at least the airbags didn't go off, right?
Right, you gotta try to find the silver lining, Well, at least it's not gas,
It's like,
At least it still drives.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
Me and you.
yeah, it's hey, can I make it? Not very far. You can try. They don't find that very funny.
No.
They don't like
just
that.
they don't have a sense of humor. That's our problem.
Well, they're scared, they're worried, like it's like, hey, how expensive is this? And you hand them a saw, and it's like left hand or right arm. It's like, oh shit, it's arm and a leg.
Right.
Yeah.
Always right.
So I don't find that very funny, but you try to be as professional as possible, but you maintain like a positive attitude, a good sense of humor, and you just treat people with respect. So that part of the starting of the mobile mechanic service was I needed we skipped over that. I'm
Okay.
sorry. So I started the mobile mechanic service as a way. I was watching that video and I was like, oh man, I'm trying to find maybe a way out of the military, and I saw this guy's videos, and I was like, you know what, I'll start this. But that was only part of it. The other part was a buddy of mine called me up and said, hey, my grandma has like this bad struts on her car. Like, can you go look at that for her? Like, because I don't know what I'm looking at. And when I went over there, she had it was like a Honda Fit or like a what's that, a Soul? No, that's a Kia Soul.
Kia Soul.
Yeah, it was a Kia Soul, and one of the square ones, and
Yeah.
and it was not very hard, and they wanted to charge her at the place that she took it to. They wanted to charge her $1,800
Wow.
to do rear struts. That's it, just rear struts. And I did it for her for like, I think it was like $350 because she bought the parts
Mhm.
and I just charged her for my labor. And it didn't take me very long. It wasn't that hard. And then, and that kind of, that sparked it. And they're like, hey, I can actually do this. Because I drove to her house,
Right.
knocked it out in her driveway. And I saved her $1,500 just doing it myself.
But also, I know it was probably pretty tough for you as well because you didn't exactly have like a stocked service vehicle or a stock truck. You were doing everything out of your car.
Yeah.
So that's an additional challenge.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you had to overcome.
Yeah, I think it was like so I had a small toolbox. I bought some ratchet sets. Um, I bought a jack, some jack stands, and I was doing at first I was doing everything by hand, no power tools. Um, and then eventually I made enough money. I bought like a big DeWalt Impact to take off the lug nuts.
Yeah.
And then eventually I made enough money to buy a right angle Milwaukee, impact head, impact driver. And then eventually I made a little more money to get like some air tools. And so it's like, it was scary at first, because you take a risk. But without risk, there's no reward.
Right.
You're never going to be successful if you don't step out. If you don't step out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself. That's the big thing. Is like, I definitely challenge myself. If it wasn't for the people that surrounded me, encouraging me and pushing me on, I would have failed.
Yeah.
So like they kept me driving, they kept me pushing me. My wife, she was a huge supporter, like telling me I can do it and not giving me a hard time for being gone. So that I don't know why, but sometimes our wives don't like being left alone, right? So sometimes they don't, but it's like my wife, she stopped giving me a hard time for like being gone until 9 o'clock at night working on people's cars.
Yeah.
That's it. One of the hardest parts about being the mobile mechanic, though, big wake up call is the first time I had to do brakes in the snow, and not on my own vehicle. Right, and on your own vehicle, it's fine. You know what I mean? Because like you're busting your knuckles and you're like punching the side of your car. It's giving it custom paint jobs, custom body shop jobs. But it's like you're working on somebody else's car that's depending on you to do it right, and you're sitting there and you're like, it's 10 degrees outside and you're messing with cold metal that snaps easily, and that's why I stopped. I did a couple brake jobs in the cold, and it's like you can't even get the rotors off because they're frozen. They're frozen to the hub. So
the cold changes things. When you have to work outside on it, the cold will change things. And depending on how cold it is, depends on what's changing too.
Yeah.
I've been outside working where it was so cold where my pliers wouldn't even open. You know what I mean? Like everything was froze shut. As soon as you touch something, it breaks. It's tough. It's tough in the winter.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Especially when it gets down to that 0 degree mark, stuff really starts to be shitty.
That's usually when I text them, and I'm like, "Oh man, it's so warm in my office. I had to turn the heater down."
Well,
I just figured that out.
His feet were sweating. He had to change into his office slippers.
Right. Yeah.
I usually go for taking my shoes off and putting them over my desk,
Right. Yeah.
putting in a nap.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's great.
That's my go-to.
I take my naps in the crawl space.
Oh man, hey, you guys go out and take care of the outside stuff. I really got to take care of whatever's going on inside here.
Right.
I'll be down in about 3 hours.
Yeah.
Just before we go home.
So you stopped doing that, and then you changed it. You took it from the mobile mechanic service
Yeah.
to then just making videos and making content.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like a no-brainer kind of move.
Well, I was making too much money. You see.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
So it was too successful. So, but no, honestly, it was getting too successful.
Yeah.
Like I say it as a joke,
Well,
but
you
it
were,
really
you
was.
were, yeah,
Like
you were.
it was every single second that I wasn't at my full-time military job, I was doing mobile mechanic stuff.
Mhm.
And then it started. It started off as like, hey, maybe I can get out of the military, maybe I can do this, and then it was like, it got to a point where it was like, dude, I might have to get out.
Mhm.
Like I might have to stop and do this full time because I'm making really good money, and it's the company didn't. I wasn't broken even yet because I kept investing into the company, investing in nicer tools and things like that. So it's like I could make this work. And so I kind of came to an impasse, and then I called my boss and I told her, I said, hey, if there's anything opening up, let me know because I need to get back home and not be away, over half the time. And actually, uh, last January, February, the position that I'm currently in opened up, and that was we're talking like the month that I decided whether, hey, I'm done with the military, or I'm gonna focus on this other job. It opened up, so actually I slowed back on the mobile mechanic stuff, started focusing more on the military job and making videos.
Mhm.
So that's actually why, the mobile mechanic service is actually like I'm kind of
Non-existent right now.
it still exists. I still do it, but it's kind of on my own time, and it's kind of when I have the ability to help people.
Right.
Because it's not about making money anymore.
Right.
It's about helping people, which I really like.
Yeah.
I love the fact that I get to pick and choose my jobs, and I'm picking and choosing to help the people that like kind of know somebody that knows somebody
Right.
that knows me,
Right.
and they're like, hey, my family member really needs help, or this person's in a hard spot, and I heard about them, and so I get to like kind of pick and choose what I need, and it's not like it's not as hey, I have to do this because I don't have a choice. Now it's like I get to do it because I want to do it.
Well,
And
that's
it,
it.
yeah,
That's
it makes my videos more pleasurable to make, and they're more fun when I get to kind of help people because I want to and not because I need to.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's nice.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing.
So you do that. You do. I also understand you're a Freemason as well.
I am, yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
the pin and the ring. And
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
What are you willing to talk about that? Because I know it's not a secret society.
What?
But
You're in the secret society?
No, it's
No,
not a secret
no.
society.
But it's a society.
Podcast is over.
Yeah, so I am a Freemason. I am a Master Mason with the Medina Lodge 58. We are with the 20th District of the Ohio Grand Lodge. So that's
What's a master mason?
so there's 3 levels. There's like the basic lodge. It's called Blue Lodge,
Okay.
and then within the lodge there's 3 degrees. There's the entered apprentice, the fellow craft, and then the master mason.
So you're
So third step.
Third step.
third step.
So, but it's once you hit master mason, that's like the highest degree. That's the highest like rank basically.
Okay.
So
So-
to
So
put it in terms that are easy to understand,
yeah. So
it's not really a rank.
right.
It's just a degree.
So do you now get to tell the other people what to do?
Not quite like that though. You'd have to have a certain position in the lodge. I mean,
I'm just
Yeah.
You'd have to be
It's a
worshipful
it's a,
master or Grand Lodge master or something.
it's all a volunteer thing.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
it's if you put information out there and you say, hey, I could use some help with this, and then because you want people that want to be there, right? So it's you push information out there, and then brothers show up and they support your event, and it it's hard to. I'm not going to ruin anything or give any secrets away, but it's a fraternal organization, so it's a all male organization. They have
female
they have-
organizations.
right, yeah. So there are female
Aren't
organizations,
there
but
co-ed? Aren't they allowing more co-ed in a lot of these lodges now?
What is-
I don't know.
What's co-ed?
Men and women.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's maybe, but not
But
what I'm
traditionally,
involved in.
traditionally not.
Yeah.
So they would have something like the Order of the Eastern Star or something like that would be like for the women's, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Demo Lay would be like for kids, like Boy Scouts type of deal. Like all Boy Scouts, I think most like try to condition them to become Freemasons, is not.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Boy Scouts conditioning Boy Scouts to be Freemasons.
Well, kind of. I mean, in a way, right? You go from Boy Scouts to like Demo Lay, and then from Demo Lay, you get introduced to
I don't think the
Freemasons.
Boy Scouts have anything to do with DeMolay. I have no idea.
I thought they did. I could be wrong. I
So,
don't know.
like,
I'm not a
there's-
Freemason.
Like we have a chapter.
Hopefully somebody can
Yeah.
clear it up for us.
Yeah, let me know because I don't even know.
Master Mason don't know.
Master Mason don't know.
He don't know all the secrets, does he? But he's only third. He's only third degree,
Yeah,
so
just
give him a break.
Bottom of the barrel, still in the barrel.
That's true.
Yeah. So what's
yeah.
the deal with like people say, oh, he's a 32nd degree Mason.
Yeah.
He's a 33rd degree Mason.
There's a TikToker that does lives that puts in his TikTok live 32nd degree Mason.
So you've got. I mean,
Is he a big deal?
that's like a Scottish writer.
Yeah,
thing.
it's
What?
so it splits off. So once you become a master mason, you can join an appendant body or like apply to a joint.
Okay.
And an appendant body would be like the Scottish Rite or the York Rite.
Uh,
So there's a lot of different ones that you can join once you become a master
So it's
mason.
a 32nd degree. Is he a big deal?
You're still a Master Mason.
Right? Yeah, you're still a master
It's
mason.
just
Does the ranking of degrees start at 100 or does it start at 1?
So there's your first, second, third degree.
So that starts
Those
at
are
1.
all in the Blue Lodge. Those are all in the lodge that I serve in, Blue Lodge. And then once you become a master mason, a third degree, then you can petition to join the other.
there's other social lodges that come along with that too. Like you have Freemasons that they do, like bearded Masons or Masons with beards or something. There's a group of those guys.
Hey,
Yeah. So
What?
He said, "Hey,
Oh,
bearded Masons."
yeah.
And then you got guys like the Shriners is another one you could join, right? And they do stuff with the
the
Children's
Shriners,
Hospital.
like the Shriners Hospital?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
joined
Yeah.
it. They did surgery on my hand twice.
A lot of the
I
guys,
just joined.
they're the guys on the little mini cards with the hats.
No.
Fezzes.
Can't
Yeah.
do it. No.
I installed a generator for a Shriner guy, and he was a Freemason and a Shriner for a long time. And he said they get their grotto on.
What is Grano?
Grotto. Grotto. I don't know, but that's what he said.
What is? What?
He doesn't. I don't know if you know.
Listen, I can't tell you.
Come on.
You know,
No,
so
we're putting him on the spotlight here. Don't go after
so
him.
like, I will say that becoming a Freemason was one of the it's what I say becoming a Freemason, but it's you petition to join Freemasonry. So you don't just become a Freemason; you petition to join.
Right.
So
You got to get voted in.
Okay.
You could get blackballed if they don't want you in the lodge.
So
You know,
yeah.
because traditionally they used little white black balls.
I don't know anything about that. So, but what I will say is that there's a process to joining Freemasonry.
So I
And
just
so-
show up tomorrow morning and sign my name on a page.
Joining,
like sign.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Scientology.
For now, it's on
Yeah, you don't joke about Scientology, man. They will cancel you.
They're now. I don't know. They got bigger fish to fry right now.
Yeah.
That is true. But if you guys want to promote us to the level where they worry about us,
Yeah, that'd be great.
They're having a fish fry.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're in trouble. Since that whole Danny Masterson thing, they're in trouble.
did you know that Bert Kreischerstadt was a Scientologist?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Bert Kreischer, the
Machine.
comedian, the machine. Okay,
He ain't with it.
yeah.
He's a machine.
No, so he went partying in Russia, got thrown with the Russian gangsters, and they nicknamed him the Machine.
Oh my.
Long story short, yeah.
Okay.
You need,
You need to check it out.
Is he like a boxer or something?
No,
He's one of Joe
comedian.
Rogan's friends, comedian.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Really?
He always jokes about drinking. He has all kinds of jokes about buying items at the school auction. You know, he went into one school auction,
Who's the
bought
other
all
guy?
750 tickets, and then just stood there and accepted one gift. Like every time the auction went on, he would just go up and grab the prize, make a big deal out of it, one after the other. The entire time he knew he's getting all of them.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. He does. Who was the other guy?
Tom Segura.
Tom Segura.
I've heard of him. Yeah. He's
They're on
pretty
Joe
funny.
Rogan's podcast all the time.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, they're his friends.
I do every now and then, like I'll check out Joe Rogan's like YouTube channel, but I don't really listen to podcasts.
I really haven't.
Which is funny that I'm on a podcast and I don't really like
So you don't really watch the local podcast very
Yeah,
much?
I
is what you're
watch
saying?
every episode.
Actually,
of
you
the
do. Yeah,
Yeah,
I checked
do.
it out.
I try
To
to
the end.
Huh?
To the end.
There are times where I hit the fast forward one.
I do the same. Whenever I speak, I have fast forward. Don't do that. I will never do that.
Look, I'm just saying, I do it on my channel. On my videos. Like, sometimes I hit some lulls.
Yeah,
You know,
It's if you truly look at a podcast, I don't think there's anybody that watches the podcast the entire way through, unless you're driving. You have your phone on the side; it's connected to the Bluetooth.
Yeah.
But there, in a podcast, there's different subjects that interest you, and you listen to those,
Yeah.
and then they go into something that you're like, I don't care about this.
yeah,
Like, why would I listen to this?
true. You know.
Plus,
I'm
you only
the same
It's
way.
like I don't care about mobile mechanic stuff at all.
Yeah.
This guy's boring.
Yeah, I mean,
I,
somebody out there is saying that right now.
Right.
Oh, they are.
Yeah. And it's probably me. I'll leave it in the comments.
Yeah. Please do.
back to the Scientology thing here. So,
But yeah, no, they're in trouble. They're you know,
did
Leah
you see the
Remini
big
is-
protest
Oh,
at
yeah.
their headquarters?
Yeah, they got
It's crazy.
their main LA headquarters was recruiting headquarters was shut down because them live YouTubers have been going out front and stopping people from going in this place. Don't go in there. It's a cult. It's a cult. They're gonna kidnap you because a lot of the allegations that are coming out are like them, you know, basically kidnapping people, separating them from their family, taking their money, and yeah, you know, it's a whole thing. And it started out as do you remember when we were kids ever hearing anything about Dianetics?
No. They made a South Park episode about that.
About Scientology,
Yeah.
And then I watched
You
this
saw
guy.
that.
I watched this guy. If you guys are interested in Scientology, I don't know why we are so much, but it's a
It's
funny cult
interesting.
thing.
I'm not interested at all in Scientology, but I got to hear the story. The set, you see, when he puts his leg up like that and he starts scooting, that's my brother. He's about to tell you some stuff. He puts his foot up. He's like, "Well, have you guys ever heard of him?" That's what he does every time.
I did some shit to him earlier. I was like, hey, what did I say? I said, hey, have you heard about what's going on with the Vince McMahon thing?
Yeah.
What is going on there?
That's why I asked him.
That's what he said.
You know what's happening?
And he was like, what's happening? I was like, well, that's why I asked you. I thought you would know about
He
it.
says- he goes, "Hey, did you hear about this?" No, what's up? I was really hoping you did, though.
I was hoping you could explain it to me, please.
Really hoping that you had heard something.
I keep watching like short videos and stuff on it. I don't know what's actually happening. Somebody tell us.
Yeah, he
Put the entire story in the comments. I'll make a short video about it.
He allegedly did some bad stuff to people.
Yeah.
That's horrible, man. It's like what we said earlier. It's like why are people so surprised when it's like, hey, here's this like super testosterone psychopath guy. Turns out he did some bad shit back in the day. It's like, yeah, like
Well, I think when you get to a level like where a lot of these people are, you're not even in reality anymore.
And like-
He's been living on so rich for so long. He's not even in our space. He's on a level where he has to,
Vince McMahon.
he has to do this kind of crazy stuff to get his rocks off.
I'd have to agree with you. I think people like that, like normal stuff is so boring. They have to
Yeah.
go and do some wild, funky stuff.
That's why you have stuff like they did old Bohemian Grove when they did all that crazy shit.
What's Bohemian Grove? I'm young as heck, so you guys are.
You'll have to look it up. It's a place where all the world. You have to look it up. I'm not
Similar to Epstein Island.
similar.
I don't think it's at all similar. That doesn't sound real.
Bohemian Grove. Alex Jones snuck in there. It's where all the.
I don't know what you're talking
You got to look it up.
about. Yeah.
You know, you're in the Freemasons. You might find out.
I
32.
don't even know what that is. But I really don't. Really not tied to Epstein, so got nothing to do with that. Didn't get on the plane.
You're not rich enough. to
Not
worry.
rich I'm only a third degree.
But it's just like, you know, these people, these super rich people, they can't just go out and get hookers and blow anymore. They got to go get hookers and blow and hunt people. You know what I mean? Like,
What?
yeah.
Vince McMahon was hunting
No.
people?
He's just making a point.
Just making a point, like just extrapolating. Like they have to go to these extremes to please their pleasures. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I don't think that's what extrapolating means, but I understand what you're saying.
Well,
Yeah.
that's all that matters.
But he says, "Yeah, I was extrapolating." Spell extrapolating. I can't.
Yeah, I don't know.
EXP. No, my fucking
Somebody spell extrapolate,
This should be a lie.
and let us know what
It
that.
should be.
Let us
Next
know
one will be.
what that what it means to extrapolate. I don't think he used it right. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let him know if he's right.
Somebody let this boy know he's wrong, please.
Somebody tell us.
We need a Freemason knows the secret. He's wrong.
But imagine Stephen Hawking's on Epstein Island.
Yeah.
That's
What was
the
he
worst.
doing there?
No way.
Walking.
Yeah, wasn't going for a run. No, that's
what did you do today? I stayed back and chilled.
oh my.
This is what you wanted. This is what you
No,
wanted.
this is not what I wanted. This is not what I wanted. I did not want to talk
Good
about
morning,
this.
mechanic. Go check him
No,
out.
it has nothing to do with Epstein. Nothing.
Nothing at all.
That's so crazy.
But I mean, I don't know. At this point, I think whatever people like Vince McMahon, like crazy stuff comes up, I think it's starting to become on brand. I say we take the power away from them and quit making a fuss out of it. Even though it's hilarious to talk about, or not hilarious, but interesting, or it's fun to gossip about.
Yeah, but none of them want us to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like,
That is true.
no, nobody wants some stuff. Nobody wants people talking about their stuff. Like, that's when he resigned and everything. No,
He resigned already?
yeah,
Perfect. Sounds good. So that's all gone.
yeah.
Well, thank God he quit. That makes everything okay.
But I don't think he had nothing to do with Epstein's Island either.
No.
It was nothing to do with that. It was just his own personal world. He was just treating. And then one lady stepped up, and she was a wrestler, and she was like, "Hey," he was basically making her do sexual stuff to be a wrestler.
That's
And that's just a tale as old as Hollywood itself.
yeah. And that's not cool at all.
No, it's disgusting.
It's horrible.
How do you think Danny got on the podcast?
He called me.
Oh, did he?
He said, "Hey, bro, I know."
We did threaten him
Yeah, he threatened
with
me.
promises. Sorry, Danny.
We promised him $50.
All right, this has been the local podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
Is he gonna be the first guest that walks off?
We can only hope, right?
You will not break me. You will not break me. I'm not quitting. No, it ain't happening. No.
So, but yeah, I say we move on to a subject that's interesting. Who's gonna win the Super Bowl? That's what I'm
Lions.
interested in.
Lions.
Come on.
I think the Browns really have a good chance this year in the Super Bowl.
Who's in the Super Bowl, actually?
The 49ers and
And
the
the Chiefs.
freaking Chiefs, man.
I'm rooting for the Chiefs entire way.
I'm not rooting for either one. I
Steve
hope both
Young,
teams.
Jerry Rice, baby.
Yeah, I hope both teams lose. I hope for the first time ever they're like, somehow nobody scored and triple overtime and nobody could do anything
I
and
think-
the
I
power ran out of the stadium.
I think
Like,
Taylor Swift will get more attention than the teams.
dude,
I think she has this whole season. I think it's been Taylor's season.
Do you?
I can't
do you
even-
think, do you think this is a fake relationship, or do you think it's a real relationship?
what do you like? They're in a relationship,
But like,
It's-
is this a PR stunt, or is this real?
so
I would say it was a PR stunt if it was before her tour.
That is true.
okay. I will say this, right, and this might be a little controversial.
Let us
Okay.
know.
Yeah, I just think that it's really, really convenient that like the most popular NFL player is matched up with the most popular like artist right now, and their politics align, and it's like right before the presidential election. I just think I'm not saying that it's tied to that. I'm just saying it's convenient timing. Because
I agree.
I'm
I
just-
can see. I mean, you can't put it past anything that's because conspiracy theories are only theories until they're proven true, right?
Credits
So-
to Cat William.
You can you can extrapolate on missing data.
Here we go.
Yeah, you can
And then this
extrapolate
time,
on
I'm
some
pretty
missing
sure
data.
he was wrong. So I'm with Danny on this one.
but look, right? So, but with saying that, what I just said, right?
But wait a second.
Hang on, let me finish
Okay.
my point, right? So,
Yeah, sure, it's your show.
if you're gonna fall in love with somebody, right? Why not be somebody that has your level of fame, has your politics in line? Like, if you're gonna fall in love with somebody, it's like the popular kids in high school falling in love. You know what I mean? It's like you might as well do that, and it just so it literally could just be coincidence.
But the other problem is they started their show. Travis and Chase started New Heights, the podcast. A couple weeks after that, him and Taylor Swift are going out.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's a podcast thing. Maybe she just loves
So
podcasts.
this guy.
I seen his brother in the thing with Taylor Swift with the shirt off and everything. I seen it.
Jason's. I love Jason. Jason's
Maybe she
amazing.
just loves podcasts.
We don't know. Maybe
Taylor, come on to the local
Yep.
the local podcast and explain yourself.
And Travis too.
Yeah,
On different days though.
different days. Yeah,
So this guy's the most popular player in the NFL.
I'm pretty sure, dude. He's in like
Is he
every
a
commercial.
quarterback?
Like Travis Kelce.
Like-
He's a
Like a Gronk or something.
yeah. He's a tight end.
Okay.
It just it's either
It's pretty good, dude. He's a pretty good tight end.
it's either Cherry Rice's record on Sunday. or
Yeah,
both
his like receiving or his catches, like total catches or something. Yeah, he did break a record. I don't.
yeah, something to do with Cherry Rice.
Yeah, I don't know. They were like, Travis Kelce just broke the all-time catch record postseason, and they showed a picture of Taylor Swift. It's like, what are you doing? She's like, hey, she doesn't know what that is. And if you do know what it is, Taylor, get on the podcast and prove me
about it.
wrong.
Call-
Extrapolate.
Shout out the local.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is like what's funny is that the last time these two teams were in the Super Bowl was the last election.
Yeah.
It's like we're living in this weird loop.
So
It was like 2020.
Do you think it's scripted? A lot of people think it might be scripted.
The NFL.
Let's be careful because supposed people die when they come and say that it's scripted.
Well, then
For people that know, we're just extrapolating from missing data.
So I think that when you say like scripted, right? And so it's like I've heard of that. I've heard that there's like, all right, now it's 3rd and 10, and Kevin's gonna intercept the ball from us. I don't think it's that detailed, right? But I think that when I'm watching a game and I see blatant missed tackles and blatant missed calls and stuff like that, I think the rules have been written to let certain players like get extra yards and stuff. So, but it's like maybe it's not scripted, but they are definitely rules that favor certain types of players, like Patrick Mahomes when he can't throw the ball, he will freaking run it for 15 yards because if they hit him the wrong way, even just a little bit, flag comes flying, right? And if they don't, he's crying. Like,
Do you think too that like with all the FanDuel and all these other betting things that are now becoming legal all over the place, you think that has anything to do with it?
I promise it has.
I mean, are
I
players making
promise.
bets on
Well, yeah, multiple players have gotten.
sacks?
There's players that are in jail for doing that.
yeah, I have no idea. It's,
I bet
that's-
on FanDuel this summer, and I promise you, it's a setup. Don't do it. It's a waste of money.
You're never getting a FanDuel sponsor. Yeah.
I'm sorry. You know what? You took enough of my money. It's
You know, if we win enough off FanDuel, we'll
yeah, we'll speak. But better has always been better than FanDuel. So
And I would like, I don't know enough about that stuff to even make a comment, but I'm a huge Browns fan. Love the Browns. I would cheer for the Browns, win, lose, whatever. I'm a dog for life. And so it does. It's, I don't know. It's one year. It's gonna be our
yeah, this summer they you know, if you bet on the Browns, you watch the game. You watch to see how many games they've won. 2. If they've won 2, it's terrible to bet on them for the third one. And I was watching that this summer.
Yeah.
They won the 2 previous, played a third, played a shutout game. I promise you, FanDuel is scripted. Promise.
So I don't know. I know that it probably has an adverse effect on the game, but to what effect, I have no idea.
I don't know that FanDuel is scripting the NFL games, but FanDuel, like the betting apps itself, obviously, they make it profitable for themselves. I would do the same.
Yeah.
I'm not upset at it.
That's like so far out of my
It's like the house always wins.
understanding.
Yeah,
The house always wins. That's how it's set up.
and it's okay.
So
I knew that. You know, that.
You guys obviously think that it's scripted, right?
I don't necessarily.
I don't even
think
have
that.
an opinion on it.
I don't really have an opinion. I don't give a shit.
Why are we talking about this?
It's because other people care about it, man.
Do you guys care about
Oh, they
this?
do.
Because they're gonna be like, dude, it's scripted. It's like, what? Let's not be divisive, right?
Give the you know what the ancient Romans used to say.
What?
Give them entertainment and feed them bread.
Dude, it's
we're the Roman Empire.
you know what's funny? Did you see the things like? It's like they're asking, like women are asking their husbands, like, "Hey, honey, how often do you think about the Roman Empire?" You seen those
Oh, yeah,
videos?
oh, yeah.
And the guy was like, "Oh my god, it's like every day." it's funny because Sam asked me that, right? And she's like, "Yeah, and how often do you think about the Roman Empire?" And I was like, "The Roman Empire? Not very often, maybe like once or twice a week." And she was like, "A week?" Right? And I was like, "Now, if we're talking like the Greek Empire, that's that. You know, if we're talking like the Egyptians,
Yeah.
if we're talking about like even just like the Mongolian Empire, dude, I'm thinking about an empire every day."
Yeah. What's really interesting about the Egyptian and the Greece one is when they basically won. You know what I mean? When Greece came over to Egypt and changed their pantheon of gods and stuff. So now basically all the Greek gods that you see, they're basically Egyptian gods under different names and titles doing the same thing.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, there was a city they found, in Egypt. I think it was Heraclion.
I don't know.
Heraclion or something like that.
I was literally just watching a video on
On that.
on the story of the Exodus, and so there's a YouTube channel that I follow called Esoterica, and
Yeah,
dude,
I sent you. I think I sent you videos from him. I think I turned you on to that channel. That
Dude.
guy, I love this guy Esoterica, but I hate him. Okay, you know why?
why?
Let me tell you.
Why?
Let's choose a good one. Choose a good one. Let me tell you why. All right. That guy, Dr. Justin Sledge.
Yeah, Sledge, Dr.
Dude,
Sledge.
I love the way he presents I love his setup. I love the way he presents everything. I love the way he's just honest and he's like, okay, I'm going to tell you this, but what kills me is he's so like, this is not real. You know what I mean? Where he's so smart, where he's got everything lined up and he's done all his research and he's telling you, so when he says, like, I like to believe, I'm a dreamer. I like to believe in wild and just fanatical stuff. This guy shoots him down.
It's fine.
Oh, so
I
you like
appreciate
using
it.
science and
Yeah.
history to
And I always agree with him, and it changes my mind because that's just how you got to be, you know, when you're a dreamer and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But he always slashes them down one by one. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But damn it,
The problem is you don't like the facts.
I don't like the facts. I like to make them up as I go,
I'm with you on that one.
but it doesn't work.
Well, it's like the some of those videos that like kind of wake you up a little bit.
Yeah.
So he's got a video on like the origins of Yahweh,
Mm-hmm.
which is like the Abrahamic God. It's God.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
God.
yeah.
Yahweh,
So,
the name of God.
Yahweh. Is that what Yahweh means? The name of God.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
but that's what we think. And it's only what we think.
Okay.
It could have been pronounced totally different. It could have been spelled totally different. But that's the thing that we believe the most.
Okay.
Because when you break it down, basically, like he says, if you break it down religion, you have to go through history. You have to break down other religions. You have to go, you know, it goes all the way to Sumer. You know what I mean?
Samaria is.
Sumerian
Ancient
gods.
Sumeria.
Okay.
Ancient Sumeria,
The Anunnaki.
Yeah, all that
and,
stuff.
Enlil,
Enlil,
Enki.
Enki, all that stuff.
Yeah,
Inanna, you know,
yeah.
all that crazy stuff. Which, if you look at it, it's all the same gods throughout time. What?
Nothing.
Yeah, it's that's what I was gonna go Gilgamesh.
I get bed. All I gotta do is bring up the Anunnaki, and he's in it. He's in it to win it. You can't shut him up about it.
You can't because
Yeah.
I will not shut up about the truth.
Yeah. So
Here he goes.
if you know Ben, ask him how often he thinks about the Sumerian Empire.
More than you. All of you.
So the Sumerian Empire, that's all completely new to me. I've never heard anybody speaking about
the
it.
Sumerians?
I've never heard
Oh,
about any
dude,
of that
it's
stuff.
great old civilization.
You need to look up Graham. You need to look up Graham Hancock.
But they're gonna spend like hours, like slowly speaking. Like,
You're gonna. Well, you're gonna. If you're gonna look into it, you're gonna spend years. looking
no,
into this shit.
no, I can't do it.
But that's the thing is like you have to.
He says no. That's been years. Someone give me a YouTube short on 5,000 years of history.
Yep.
Yeah.
I already watched World War One videos. I watched Civil War videos. I can't add another. I can't add another one to it.
That's like 300 years ago. You got to go
Yep.
back like 6,000 years.
Yeah, and that's not even because like Graham Hancock says, like they think that there was civilization before that even. Like
Okay.
we only know the earliest one that we know of is Sumeria.
Okay.
And they wrote in like cuneiform writing
Yeah.
on tablets and
It's like
stone
10
tablets and stuff.
10 to 12,000 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is about the same time when we had like all those flood stories and all and
Mhm.
like the Bible and all these other religions that have flood stories. They believe it came from this flood that happened 10 to 12,000 years ago.
Mhm.
And if you go back to Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, the oldest known, that's the thing, the oldest known man-made structure that we know of on Earth is about 10 to 12,000 years old, but we haven't seen civilization until about 6,000 or more years ago with Sumeria.
Okay.
So that's where the discrepancy comes in. What was before what we can find?
Mhm.
Well, that's when they think the flood was about 12,000 years
Right.
ago.
Yeah.
So it's crazy because like science is proving the flood myths.
Yeah.
But what's
Yeah.
wild is that it's like they're finding that all these different cultures all around the world have a Noah's Ark flood myth.
They all have the same
Yeah,
flood
it's
story,
like the same thing.
So when you say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm a Christian" or "I'm a Jew" or this and that, you're essentially picking a god from a pantheon of gods. So there's a question on who that god
it's
is.
Yahweh. Like
Well,
that,
there's a
there's
question.
no question.
It
It's
could
the
be
one
Thoth,
God.
It could be Zeus. It could be
No,
no.
No.
It's not. It's one god
no.
from
Yahweh
one
is not
to-
Zeus.
They don't.
Yahweh was a storm war god.
Right.
But so Yahweh was the name of one of many gods,
So
but Yahweh was the top god. And then through like thousands of years, basically became the monotheistic God, Yahweh. So the Abrahamic God,
Yeah. But that just goes to
the
show, like,
God, big G, big T.
yeah, the big G, but there's just one big G is what I'm saying. Like everybody thinks there's just one big G, but that one big G comes from a party of G's. that
Well,
people
yeah.
just chose. Just
You
like
know what,
people,
dude?
just like
All-
people chose to worship Ra, or Osiris. You know what I mean? Pharaohs have
Soft.
gone in.
Soft.
Pharaohs have gone in and
Those are
changed
soft
all those
ass
around.
gods, dude.
You don't even.
They're so soft
you
compared
don't
to
even
Yahweh.
know. Oh, my
Yahweh came in and said, nope, you're done. Like, you're fired. You're fired.
Well,
You're
If you
fired.
want to go there, then they believe that Yahweh is Enlil himself, and Enlil is one of the
That's
Anunnaki.
that's completely different. Enlil is not Yahweh. There's no.
You don't know that
Yes.
because there was
It's
a battle
like,
between
it's like
Enlil
Yahweh
and
isn't Seth.
history
they thought-
is written by the victor. These gods spoke in battles.
What are you talking about? History's written by the victor.
I'm just trying to sound smart.
Yeah.
So they're thinking Yahweh isn't what Christians would refer to as God.
Yeah. So Yahweh is the true name of the Christian God.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same Jewish God. It's the same Muslim God. It's
So that's
God.
always been my argument: is if you're going to be religious and you're going to claim Christianity,
Mm-hmm.
then you got to claim to be religious with all the religions, but they all have a difference between each other.
Not necessarily.
All right, we're getting into some dangerous territory. But so look, like, let's figure
this out.
You got to
No,
believe in
no,
all.
I want to move on.
So
He says, let's figure it out. I want to move on because there's people don't want to hear about this.
No,
They
they
do.
do. They got their.
Yeah, they got whatever you
We don't
believe.
wanna
Just keep
offend
believing. As long as you do believe in something, man. That's really the most important. No, don't look at me like that. The most important thing is that you have a level of like morals, ethics, standards, and then you have like just a set of rules that you live your life by.
That's right out of
Just
the
being-
Freemason's handbook.
Just be a good person. You know what I
Right,
mean? So it's
absolutely.
like you want to believe in God. Like that is important to be like to me. I'm a Christian, but it's like it is important to believe in God and in my faith to believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
But like it's not everybody feels that way, right?
Right,
But it's the most important thing is that you have a list of rules that you govern your life by. I chose the 10 Commandments. You know what I mean? So it's like, but other people don't follow that. Other people, they want to, be they want to follow Odin, or they want to follow, these other,
Which they like,
religions.
which they
It's-
believe Odin is, one of them gods too, where it's like, it was one from another time,
I'm gonna stop listing gods for you.
Because every single one you can
Yeah.
take back. You
But
can
it's
take
just,
back.
it's important to when you're living your life to have that solid list of guidelines
right.
to govern yourself, to self-govern, to teach your young ones
Right.
how to be a good person. Because the problem is too many of us, and my belief is that too many of us, especially in the United States, aren't teaching intrinsic value to life. So that like, hey, every single person has intrinsic value, has a purpose and value given by God, and it's precious. No matter what your skin color is, your religion, your sect, if you're poor, if you're rich, you have purpose and you have value, right? And so if you teach your kids that everybody's special, everybody's got a purpose, everybody has value, they look at other people with respect, right, and care.
Yeah.
It's the people that aren't teaching their kids that are raising like kids that are making bad decisions and shooting up schools because they don't care about the life of other people,
Right.
right? So
But that's my argument right there. Is you can't go around assuming everybody is a great person because
no, I didn't say great
there's
person.
not every person has value.
And they do.
That's not true.
Not every person. Most people.
Everybody is born with value.
Everybody
Everybody's
is
born with a purpose.
with potential.
But everybody is born with a skill set that nobody else has to a certain degree.
Mm.
So therefore, everybody has that one spot, whatever it might be as a young kid, to do something with their life. Like you were saying, we all have something we're good at. We all have something that we do better than anybody else. But if we choose to not use that, if we're not taught to follow our mission or to follow our, whatever you want to call it, calling your gift, whatever you might call it, you're not going to be a good person. And if we teach our kids that, I think it's beneficial.
Hey, teach your kids to be a good person, respect others.
So that's it. You know, you got to lead by example first and foremost.
Right, yeah.
You know, because a lot of people are trying to do that, but then they're acting a different way.
Yeah,
That's true.
You got to control yourself. Self-control is so important.
Yeah, that's
Really
one of the
is.
hardest things. You know, I struggle with self-control. In
Yeah.
a lot of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's.
Everybody does.
Plus,
Yeah.
if we bring back the work ethic in the young generation, I think we can go a lot further than what we have.
So I think that like the young kids, like the new soldiers that we're getting, they have work ethic. They really do. And in fact, like they have probably more work ethic than I've seen in a long time.
Mhm.
The issue is that they are far more intelligent than anybody before them.
Right.
They have instant access to information, right? So when they listen to a human being talk, they're thinking very critically about every word coming out of their
Mhm.
mouth because they have lived their entire lives 160 characters from being canceled into oblivion. So they are very careful with what they say
Yeah.
and what they listen to, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm trying to tell somebody something, they are so quick to call bullshit.
Yeah.
So I don't lie to these soldiers. Like I tell them the truth. I try to be as real as possible without scaring them. And you know, hey, look, these are the dangers, right? And scaring them out of completing a mission. But you got to tell them. You got to give them direction, right? And give them tasks that aren't just menial tasks. If they are menial tasks, you have to explain that to them.
Right.
Like, hey, this task is stupid, and you have to do it every single time because it
Correlates to
does
something
this,
else.
right? So, and as long as they understand the bigger picture, right? So, like when we were growing up, like all these like Gen X guys, they did not explain big picture to us.
Right.
They didn't like
Right.
they don't care.
Yeah, nobody
It's like-
explains big picture
Yeah.
to back in the day.
Yeah, and it's like they give the millennials such a hard time because like, oh, you just gotta know the why behind everything. Well, yeah, man, that's like basic shit. Sorry for my language, but it's like
Yeah,
it's like
that's-
basic
That's
stuff.
it. That's just it. You know, even like me coming up in the trades as a kid and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, guys were yelling at me, telling me to do this and that and the other thing, and I'm like, well, why don't we do it this way or whatever? And it became a problem because it's like, well, because you know, there's something down the road later. Well, just tell me that when I
Yeah.
first asked you that.
Yeah.
You know, because it's going to affect something later if I do it wrong or whatever.
Yeah.
As a kid, you don't know that, and without being
No.
told that, they just scream at you. You know.
Yeah.
But so a lot of times what will happen is I'll do that with the young guys. You know, is they'll want to do something different, and I'll explain to them exactly why we're doing it the way we're doing it versus the way they want to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where you try to break it down and explain it to them.
Yeah.
You know.
Because we understand the value of communication. We understand like as millennials, and we're getting to the point where millennials are now the supervisors, millennials are now the people in charge, millennials are now the CEOs and stuff, and they're like all these older people that didn't have the patience to explain it to us because they never got it, right?
Mhm.
And now we have the patience. Those older people are smashing on these like Gen Z people because they're like, oh, they're lazy, they're stupid. You have to hold their hand for everything. No, man, you just gotta explain it to them. It's no big deal. Take 10 minutes, explain it to them, show them how to do it, and then they're gonna rock it. Like
My patience is going to depend on the color of their hair. I'll be honest.
Same.
that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
Like if they got blue hair, red hair, purple hair, I'm gonna take them a little less seriously if we're in a professional setting.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep. Same.
Why? Like why?
Just because it depends on the setting we're in. If we're in a professional level setting,
Like
Where-
a construction site or something?
yeah, oh, absolutely.
On a construction
I've
site,
never
if you have
seen
blue
I've
hair,
never seen a dude with colored hair
there's no way that it'll pass.
on a construction site.
Why? It's just hair, man.
Within a week, he'll have a shaved head.
They just don't
100%.
because it's hard to take a dude seriously. Like I'm gonna put my life in that dude's hands. I'm less to do it to any other person too, but especially if you don't look like you can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
Or if somebody shows up with like their jeans falling out their ass.
Fingernails painted
Yep.
on the job.
Oh,
It's
man.
this is what it is. It's just
Well, that's like construction.
it's a
like,
different world.
So you show up to a construction site.
Outside of construction, I'll judge you by your intelligence.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like But on a construction job,
Do you? What if somebody shows up with like Ryobi tools?
I don't.
Is it the same?
I use Ryobi tools.
Do
At
you?
home.
Yeah. No, I use them on the job site.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Get in the van.
But
No, I don't.
I get away with it because I can speak the exact same language on the job site that you can.
So what if they show up and they have like a brand new tool belt, like
Oh, they
still,
gotta go.
like super shiny
Don't watch
leather?
that, dude.
Yep.
If he's got a brand new tool belt and brand new tools, you gotta watch that. sucker.
Especially if like his shoes are new.
If he's got new boots,
New
yeah,
boots.
new boots.
If his boots are worn in, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
he knows what he's doing. He just
Yeah.
bought a new pouch.
If he comes up with all new stuff, that dude is green.
Yep, and he 9 times out of 10 won't last.
What if it's like the
That's
first week after Christmas?
Doesn't change.
If he was there before that, and
Yeah.
you know, like if he had established himself, sure, yeah, you come in with all. Everybody comes with all new shit on Christmas, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
usually you try and like keep on like
Yeah.
a worn pair of boots. You know, you don't wear like boots, pants, and shirt all new because
But-
you don't want to look like a rookie. You want to
But,
look
yeah.
like something's worn on your body.
but it's
Yeah.
like you said earlier when we were talking. We're the old guys now,
Right,
So
yeah,
that's
we're the old
why
guys
we
now.
think like that. So,
Yeah.
you know, these younger guys that come on, they give other people, you know, more of a chance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but construction is losing that. You know what I mean? It's losing that hard edge.
But it's you can also see in the companies now, the owner of the companies, the ones that look at it the way me and you do, those are the successful construction companies
Yeah.
right now.
But it's weird. I wonder why.
It's
You know,
sad. It's sad. Like, you know,
Number one, you're putting your life into, like on roofing, if the pitch is steep, let's say you're doing a metal roof, you might have to have somebody tie a rope around you, or you walk on slippery metal down and put screws in, and on the way up. You develop a bond with people that act the same way you do, talk the same way you do.
Yeah.
And you're not going to put your life into that guy's hands, therefore, in your mind, he's worthless.
Okay.
Or the history of those guys not showing up to work, being
Yeah.
late to work, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
yeah.
Because they start saying, well, it doesn't matter how much money you make, we want good hours.
Yeah.
We and Ben care about how much money we make. We don't
Yeah.
care about hours.
You're not, and plus you're not so much worried about, you know, it's all about them proving themselves.
Yes.
It's not like
Yeah.
they're never going to make it on the job. If you come onto the job and you've got painted fingernails and colored hair and face tattoos and you just, you know, and you look like a young punk, you know, you can make it. It's just going to be tougher for you.
Yeah.
But that's with those old guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's coming from a different generation. Like, I came from a generation of guys that were just like terrible to you.
Yeah.
You know? So this younger generation, like the job sites are becoming softer and softer and softer. So those guys can make it.
Mhm.
It's just a little harder for them yet.
Well, so
It's not
like
impossible. Not everybody is cut out.
right. So like when I worked for the construction, I didn't work for very long, right? But when I did, it was like everybody smoked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Still, everybody still smokes.
Right. But the thing is like
Not for us.
yeah, so like everybody smoked cigarettes. But the thing is like if you didn't smoke cigarettes, they'd look at you funny.
Right, exactly. It's
Right?
that,
So it's almost
that,
like a similar thing.
it's that thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
that thing. Yeah. Or like if a guy's not drinking coffee in the morning.
Right. You're like, hey, where's your coffee?
Like, what are you doing? You're not a grown
Oh,
up
I
yet?
got a monster. It's like,
Yeah. Well, you ain't grown up yet, you know,
Yeah.
like it's that kind of, it's just a stigmatism. It's not
Yeah.
saying like, oh, anybody with blue hair can't do it. It's just
Yeah.
saying like, if I was in charge, that I wouldn't hire that guy first because of the issues that I'm going to have to deal with everybody else.
The other thing, it's hard to keep a construction site PG. So you always worry about what's the guy with the blue hair. Culturally, we're going to look at him like he's probably going to be offended by every single thing that Tom, Jerry, and Bob say all day long. Now I got to listen to him crying,
So it's,
potentially get a lawsuit because somebody said something that upset him. And now he's suing the company.
yeah, it's a whole stigma thing. Like
Yeah.
that's just it. You know,
He can make
you walk in, hey, boss is going to, you know, whoever's in charge of HR, hey, you're not going to cause any problems for me, are you? You know,
You're definitely going to get that question if you show up like that.
it's just a different world, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different than a corporate setting. Like if you go into a corporate setting,
Yeah.
it's a totally different world.
Plus, I mean, in construction, number one, you're working in an environment every day that realistically lawsuits could come out of. So you don't want to take that extra risk
Yeah.
of a lawsuit coming out.
It's
You don't
interesting.
want OSHA
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
called out. There's a lot of problems.
There's a lot of stuff that goes into just your hair color that you wouldn't think about.
yeah.
But it is. Unfortunately, it is a problem.
It's like I mean, and we're, like my job, I don't have to deal with that.
No, because you have regulations that
We got
go
regulations,
against color in your hair.
But they're changing the like the
Right.
regulations are constantly being
Sure.
evolved and changed. They just changed a lot of regulation
Yeah.
this past couple of years, like a lot. So yeah, there's some of them for the better, some of them were strange. I don't want to say they're for the worse, but they were like strange. Like
Right.
why are you implementing this? Literally, no one's asking for this thing, but now you're allowing certain things to happen.
And it's something
It's
that
just
they
kinda
want. It's
Yeah.
something that they want.
Yeah, it's
Something
just
that they
weird.
might be able to get funding for or whatever.
Yeah.
They get more grant money if they have this, whatever.
It's just weird.